Today's one of those days. It's snowing out. It's freezing cold. You just don't want to go to the gym. Oh. But today's what makes or breaks you. It's the perfect day to go to the gym. What's up, everybody? Welcome to iOS 3 Raw TV. We got some shit to talk about tonight. So, one of the topics we're going to talk about tonight, and this will be separate videos. We're not going to run all in one video because it's too long and people don't watch longer videos. So, we're going to talk about something that was advice that was given to me many, many moons ago by a lawyer friend of mine, and it has to do with anabolic steroids. Now, so many times I get emails constantly, and I lose a lot of business for this, guys. Trust me, I lose a fuck ton of business because nowadays people are not really interested in training, diet, learning how to change their body. They really want to know about drugs, right? And they all think that they have, oh, I got my diet down, I got my training. Really, you don't, okay? Basically, you don't, okay? Because steroids are actually the final thing. Like, you should be able to train and know how to fucking diet before you add steroids. But they'll contact me and be like, Jerry, do you do cycles? And I'm like, no, I don't do fucking cycles. Well, if I hire you, can you not send me the diet and the training program and just advise me on the cycles? I'm like, no. They're like, well, do you do the whole programs and add the cycles? I'm like, no, okay? I cannot give you a cycle. I cannot personally write you a cycle of steroids in combinations of drugs and adjust them and tell you what to do. It's 100%, and I don't care what these other ring-ding trainers are saying. I don't care what other people in forums are talking about. I don't care what people think. Okay, well, I don't think steroids should be illegal, so therefore it's not a big deal if I just tell somebody how to use them, okay? They're all fucking wrong. Dead wrong. And I had a lawyer look me right in the face, right in my eye, and said, if you do this with your clients, and he's not talking about selling the clients drugs, okay? Because I get those emails too where, well, Jerry, you talk about drugs on camera, so therefore, like, you can't just talk about them. Like, you have to give me sources. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, either give me a source or you sell them to me or you're a fraud. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, people will say anything because everybody's obsessed with drugs nowadays. And they think that there's a secret, super special stack. Like, if I know it because I know this pro or that pro, that I can hand it off to them and it's going to turn them pro because they're going to get the super secret cycle. Nothing could be further from the fucking truth. Anyways, what are we talking about how not to, if you're a trainer and you're doing this, let me just explain to you right now, you are in danger, okay? I'm going to go over this right now. So technically, if you write the cycle down for someone, you type it on an email and you send it to them, and as their contest prep is changing, you're adjusting drugs and stuff like that, you are now technically dispensing medical advice without a license. That's what it is. Those drugs are illegal to use without a prescription. Actually, most of them are illegal to use, period. Like, they're not, some of them not even for human use, but I mean, technically, you are advising somebody, you're giving them medical advice, you're dispensing in medical advice without a prescription. That's what the charge would be if something happened. Now, what is medical advice? So here's where, because it can be kind of a touchy slope, right? So advice may be the practice of medicine when the advice is specific to a particular person's illness or injury. Now, technically, it's not an illness you're doing, but you're prescribing drugs to get an effect, which is illegal. Like, you can't actually give someone, a doctor can't even prescribe someone drugs unless it's an illness or they're doing something for something that's wrong with them to alleviate pain, help them heal, help them get better. They can't do that, and like, they can't just give someone a medication because they want to look better or they just feel like taking it. It's illegal for them to do that, right? But advice may be the practice of medicine when the advice is specific to a particular person's injury or illness or injury, which means that if someone doesn't have a problem, you can't do it. Now, I don't even have a license, so it means that I'm not supposed to be doing anything at all, either as any of these other people that are doing it. Now, it says that magazines and websites that offer general tips for getting over the common cold, they're using this as an example, therefore are not engaging in the practice of medicine. Okay, so basically, if you give someone general guidelines, if you were like, yeah, you know what, I think like, probably using one thing instead of 5 things is better. I think 5 things instead of 1 thing is probably better, but you're not giving them any specifics, right? That would be acceptable. Now, I tell people, I can't tell you exactly what to do, but what I can tell you, okay, and pay attention to this, is what other people in your circumstance are doing right now in other countries that I know. So friends of mine in other countries where it's legal that are your height and weight, your size, this is what they're doing over there. Now, I can just give you that information on what they're doing because you can find it online, right? So it's like regurgitating what's online. And technically, that's not dispensing medical advice. So I can do the diet, I can do the training, I can do the cardio, I can adjust those things, I can do supplement advice. When it comes to anabolic steroids and stuff like that, you have to technically give general advice, okay? General advice meaning I can tell you what people over in the other countries are doing, right? But I cannot give you a prescribed cycle. You can't do it. It's illegal. Now, a lot of people say, well, Jerry, how's anybody going to know? Here's the deal, guys. The internet is wide. It's ginormous. And they are not going to catch everybody that's doing this, right? There are trainers out there right now that don't only just give cycles, write the cycles, they sell the stuff to the clients. I know because they come to me and say, hey, I want to leave my trainer, but I need a source. Can you hook me up? Like that, this is stuff that I get, right? So here's what happens. And this is a hypothetical situation, but it has happened plenty of times in the past to people around me. Don't forget, 27 years deep in the sport, I've seen a lot of things. I know a lot of people. And I've seen things happen to where I said, fuck, if that happens to me, I need to be ahead of the curve because I don't want that to fucking go down like that for me like it did for that person. Now, let's say you train someone for a show. They get a big show coming up. And they listen to your advice. You write out the cycle. You're adjusting the cycle. Now, you tell them right in the thing that you don't think they should use diuretics because they can hurt themselves with them. Or they're not really experienced with it, so they shouldn't use them unless someone was there to watch the person to know what's going on. They shouldn't use diuretics. This person says, okay, cool, I got the diuretics anyways, I'm going to fucking do them and not tell them. This person literally takes the diuretics, cramps up, and fucking drops dead. Now, it has happened. Many people go to the hospital. And this person's family, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, cousins, friends, whatever, say, well, I don't understand how this can happen. He was under the tutelage of this guy, right? And they say, well, he was just his trainer. All they literally have to do is pop open these emails and see the cycles in there. And it doesn't even matter what truly happened to him. What truly happened to him was he overdosed on a diuretic that you told him not to take. However, when they look through those emails to see what was actually said, to see if you told them to take the diuretic, which would, again, put you in jail, they now see the cycles and the drugs that you've been telling them to take in the amounts, in the transactions back and forth. That is absolute proof. It's not hearsay. It's absolute proof of dispensing medical advice without a license. And you are able to be charged with that and punished, and you will not beat that rap. Now, best case scenario, you get probation, okay? But what you're not getting is so many people out there go, oh, just get a slap on the wrist. Do you know what it costs to go through this? It costs thousands of dollars that most people don't have in the fucking first place. You're trying to tell me that you're now going to reduce your business because you're probably not going to do that anymore because you just got arrested for it. Okay, so you're going to stop doing that, which means you're going to lose business because you're not doing that shady shit anymore, right? Or if you're one of these people that's actually selling it to them, selling to the clients is even fucking worse. But on top of that, you have thousands of dollars that you have to spend. On top of that, gives them probable cause to go into your emails and look and see if you're doing this with other people. Which if you're doing this with other people, and don't think that they can't, okay? Don't listen to these assholes online in forums. The FDA sat in my fucking house and said, we want to look at your fucking phone. I said, here. I handed them the phone. I said, here's the phone. Because they were looking for specific things with a company that was doing some shady shit that my name was given to them by another individual that was with the company, but that's a whole nother thing for a whole nother time. But basically, I was rented out for nothing, and I told them what I knew. I said, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I handed the phone. And they looked at the phone, they looked through the text messages. Okay, cool. I said, what happens if I didn't give you the phone? They said, oh, basically we just get a fucking court order and we go get them. Like Verizon will give us all of your fucking text messages. And they said, but they're not just going to give us those. They're going to give us everything. Because now we're going to say, look, we need this to find out if he's doing this with other people too. We have probable cause based on what we just saw. And we can get the fucking warrant to look through the rest of your text messages like that. And they're looking at me right in the face. I'm like, I know you can. I absolutely know you can. But for some reason, everybody thinks they're protected. Like it's steroids, the authorities don't really care about steroids. They're worried about heroin instead. Or, well, it's just testosterone. Who cares? I've had people say, well, Jerry, it's just like 10 bottles of testosterone. I'm going to have them shipped to my house. Do you know that I had friends sit in jail for a couple of years for 2 or 3 bottles of testosterone that got shipped to their house? Lost their marriages, lost their fucking kids, lost their money, got locked up, charged with a felony, because it was shipped across state lines, it was now fucking, moving things across state lines. They couldn't even get a job when they got out because of the felony. Trafficking drugs across state lines. Like, you guys don't fucking think. And the reason why I've been able to be here as long as I have and do the things that I have and not be in trouble is because I didn't do the stupid things that everybody else was doing. When everybody else was jumping off the bridge, I'm like, hey, how's your sprained ankle? I'm going to stay up here. That was my thing. And I kind of stepped back and I'm like, look, guys, even if I lose money, and I've lost tons of money over the years, I'm still not in jail. I still haven't fucking hurt anyone. Still haven't any fucking legal issues in 27 years of doing this stuff. Now, that is what I want, okay? That is what I wanted. Now, again, going back to the giving people cycle advice. The whole deal is, I can not advise you, but I can tell you stories about what other people are doing. If you ask me questions, I can answer questions to the best of my knowledge from what is available online, stuff like that. But you cannot type out a cycle for someone, adjust that cycle, tell them what to do with illegal drugs that need a prescription. And some of the things, they're not even available by prescription, but you can absolutely get popped for that. And if you think you can't, you're one of those individuals that gets sloppier and sloppier and sloppier because you think you're fucking untouchable. Trust me, the guy who sent these FDA to my house thinks he's untouchable. I'll tell you right now, there are cops watching him and he's had to move multiple times to get away because he heard that cops might be coming after him. This motherfucker has moved a couple of times to try to avoid that from happening. So even he, who speaks out about the authorities don't even care, has had to fucking move to avoid the bullshit that was going on with those local authorities, which is only a matter of time before the federal authorities get kind of sunk into this, but whole nother topic for another time. But be aware, guys, like, the deal is there's illegal shit going on out there all the fucking time, and it's sad. It's sad to watch that everybody thinks it's no big deal, and then when everybody gets fucking busted or something happens to someone and they're like, well, I don't understand how this happened, like, you're doing the dumbest shit ever. Like, why don't you fucking think? If it's all about the fucking money, eventually you are going to get caught doing your dumb shit because you're not focused on helping people. You're not focused on doing the right thing. You're focused on the fucking buck. And when the buck comes in, that's all you concentrate on. Well, you know what? When you get popped, those bucks go out of your bank account really fucking fast when you hire a lawyer, especially when you're like, look, I really want to fucking get out of this. You wind up paying fucking more. If you wind up going to fucking jail for a little bit of time, even if you do 3 months. Some people are like, oh, I only got to do 3 months. You know what? 3 months of time. Musclehead 320, they point out and say, oh, he's going to be out, in a few years. Do you realize that you had years taken away from your life for fucking around with steroids? And you think that's fucking cool? Don't get me wrong. I have no issue with steroids. I think they should be 100% legal. I think everybody should be able to do whatever the fuck they want. And I do not regret using anabolic steroids one fucking bit in my life. Not at all. However, I do realize that they are illegal. Doing illegal things eventually winds up catching up to you and you wind up getting in trouble. And a lot of times it's just one of those things where you're looking at it like, how did I get myself in this situation? Hopefully some of you out there right now will watch this and this will stop you from getting yourself in those situations where you're going to be sitting there and be like, how could I have done this? How could I have been so stupid? How could I have not seen this coming? Like, it's coming, guys. So be aware. The anabolic steroid thing was underground for most of its fucking span, all this time. And now it's coming to the mainstream. And that's where the problem's going to be. When everybody really slacks off and thinks it's no big deal, feds love that shit. They absolutely love to sit back and watch you think it's no big deal, and they just fucking give you enough rope. They give you enough rope, and they stop, and you fucking hang yourself. And they're like, oh, well, you did all these things. You're like, yeah, but but no but-ums. You broke the law. You did it over and over again. You're fucking done. So at the very least, you're spending a bunch of money. So be safe out there, guys. Don't do the wrong thing. Try to do the fucking right thing all the time, even if it's not the easy thing. And remember, money's nice to have, but money comes and goes. But your time, you cannot, under any fucking circumstances, buy more time, get more time back, trade. You cannot. Once your time is gone out of your life and you're a young guy and you may not think much about this, once that time is gone, you can't get it back. And at the end of your life, when you're fucking sitting there, I guarantee you're going to wish you had 3 years back, 1 year back, anything, 5 hours back. You're going to wish you had any of it back just to have more of a life. Just my 2 cents, guys. BioStraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostraining.com is the blog. It's a Think About It bicep, and we are out.